Hey, it's Gavin here. I'm going to show you how do you create a folder from a template in ClickUp using make.com. Because you can see here, if I come into make.com and look at the ClickUp actions, we can't create a folder from a template. We can create a folder, but no option for a template. We can create a task from a template, but there's no option to create a folder from a template. For example, nothing. So what we're going to have to end up doing is using the API call. I'm going to obviously show you what you need to put in place and what needs to be done. But this is where we're going to end up, is that make an API call. This is the automation that I'm actually using it in. It's part of a client onboarding, and essentially we need to create a folder from a template for each new client, very logically. And let me start with the end result and show you what the API request looks like, and then we'll work backwards from there. You can see here, it's actually a very simple API request. You just need to make sure the method is on post. You need to make sure you've got this JavaScript in the body that just has name and then the task name or whatever you want the name of the folder to be. That's probably going to be a variable. And the most important part here is the URL. And I'm going to show you how to get this URL. And in this case, my folder template ID is a variable, but you could just type it in the same as how I've typed in the space ID. But I'm going to show you how to get that template ID and the space ID. To get the space ID, honestly, the easiest way I've found to do it is if you just come into make.com, you can create a random scenario, it doesn't really matter. Create a new action step and use the list all spaces. So you can see here, if I add a new step to this, ClickUp, there's a list all spaces step. What you're going to want to do is just to right click on the module and say run this module only. You can see here I've clicked on the bubble to open the results, and we're just going to pick out the correct space ID that we need in this case. So write that down. Now we need the template ID for the folder, and I don't know why, but ClickUp makes it very damn hard to find just the ID without having to go into the API and making requests, but I found a way that makes it a bit easier. So you can see here, if I'm in just ClickUp and I go to the list of templates, so I've opened up the menu, I've gone to templates, I say browse templates, and then you're going to see here your list of templates. So click into the folder template that you want. Now we need to do a bit of a hack. So if we click on share and we temporarily change that to public sharing, you see it gives me a URL here. So I copy that link. You can see here I've copied this into the browser URL, and obviously I've blurred out this link, part of the link, but the part we want is where I'm highlighting is the T-number. We just want the number part. And then we can write that down and take that back into make. So back in make, that folder template ID that we just wrote down, that's what's going to go at the end of this URL. And then the space ID that we saved earlier, that's going to go over there. In this case, I've gotten a little bit fancier because we're picking between two different folder IDs depending on the selection in the onboarding form. But I'll just quickly show you that step because it might be helpful and interesting for you going forward. The way I do this if else based on the campaign type is I do an if statement here. So based on the type of campaign, and interestingly enough, you don't receive the actual face value of the selected option from ClickUp. You just receive the number. So it's like if the type of campaign is equal to 5, which in this case is LinkedIn, then I return the T-LinkedIn folder template ID. And if it's the other one, I return the other T-folder ID. But that is how you actually create a folder from a template in ClickUp using make.com. I don't know why they make these things so difficult. Feels like it shouldn't be so difficult. Like there should be just an easy step to get the template IDs and also an option to actually just say create from the template ID. But alas, that's just not how the integration's been set up. So hopefully that helps. And if you want help setting these types of automations up, automating your onboarding, your sales operations, your dashboard and reporting, you can just find my links in the description and you can reach out to me.